What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Arizona Varsity Coaching Interview. I'm Adam Beadle, and today I'm joined by the one and only Danny Norris, head coach of the Benjamin Franklin Chargers. Coach, thanks for taking some time to join me this morning.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Adam. Thank you for having me on.
Well, let's dive in. You guys have had a lot of success this season, obviously clinching the number one seed in 3A, 10-0. Are you at all surprised by your guys' success this season, or is this had you seen this coming?
I will tell you, we had a really successful lower levels my first 2 years here with the Frost Off and the JV. But I think a lot of the guys that are playing really good football for us this season had to earn that, right? They had to show it on the Friday nights. And we had to replace 9 of our top 11 tacklers on defense. We had to replace a 1,500-plus yard rusher. So there was definitely some question marks coming into the season, but they were quickly answered within the first couple weeks of us playing ball.
Absolutely. And you guys have just dominated all season long. We talk about the offense, but you guys have allowed less than 100 combined points defensively this season. I mean, what can you just say about the job that your defense has done this year?
Yeah, it all starts with our coordinator and our defensive staff, Jeremy Sather, our defensive coordinator, and his staff of, Devin Strang, Evan Cleese, and Kendall Tobin. They do a phenomenal job, man. They game plan their minds off for these teams that we're playing. We're a heavy formation check team, and they do a really good job of preparing our guys, and it's a high level defense. It's not something that when you look at it, it's an elementary defense. They're playing collegiate level coverages. They're doing different levels of fronts, and we're moving. We're never given the same picture a few different times. So it's a really hard defense for offenses to go against. And then of course the players, man, like in between the lines and between the whistles, our defense flies to the ball. They swarm. And as I had mentioned, replacing 9 of our top 11 tacklers, certainly not an easy task, but we have all 3 of our linebackers are juniors. We have 2 juniors and a sophomore. Our Mike linebacker is a sophomore, and he makes all of our checks at the line of scrimmage. They've been incredible. So Tillman Grant, Ashton Goddard, and Christian Sorensen have stepped in, and they fly around. They play a violent level of defense, and we really appreciate what they're doing for us right now.
Do you think maybe that's why you guys have had a lot of success you have, is you're asking your players to kind of educate maybe themselves a little bit more on these schemes and just try to challenge themselves a little bit more with the stuff they're doing?
There's certainly a piece to that, no doubt. Like, we don't hold back. Our offensive coaching staff is kind of the same way. Our run game coordinator is Brandon Johnson. He played 9 years in the NFL, and we ask our guys to do a lot, but we're also at a school where academic rigor is important to us. So we have smart young men who, maybe athletically speaking, they're not the top of the top here in the East Valley, but they play a level of football that is high level, and we don't hold back on them. We challenge them in the classroom. We challenge them with our game plans, and so far, so good. They've executed at a really high level, and the continuity piece has been big. For the 3 years I've been here, we've had the same staff. So we haven't had a ton of turnover, and those guys trust what our coaches are doing, and they play 48 minutes of 100% effort 100% of the time.
How much have you seen that continuity just build between not only you and the rest of the coaching staff, the players getting to just see the same faces day after day for the past 3 years? Do you feel like that is really also something that has kind of propelled you to where you guys are?
Without a doubt, we're at a special place here at Benjamin Franklin. We're a 7 through 12 campus, so we have an opportunity to coach our guys for 6 years, which is super great. We play junior high football in the winter. So our hope right now is we're going to play up until Thanksgiving. We'll get a week off, and then we'll go coach the 7th and 8th graders.
There you go.
High, right? So that's super important to us, is that continuity piece. And graduating 19 seniors from our 2025 class, to be able to replenish that with 20 seniors from our 26 class is huge. And I think we're one of the larger programs in Arizona right now, certainly for 3A. We started here 3 years ago. My first year was 64 total players. Last year, in my second year, we had 92. Wow. And this year we have 108. Wow. So we're able to successfully field all 3 levels here at the 3A.
That's awesome.
We'll play up, we'll play down. Doesn't matter for us. We'll play whatever level wants to play us at the lower levels. And the last 2 years, we've gone undefeated on JV. So we're 14-0 the last 2 years on JV, and we've beaten some pretty big 4A teams and one 5A team now currently. So a lot of good experience, and we want to teach the game really well, but we want to give our players every opportunity to play. So, when it comes to it, if somebody wants to schedule us for JV or Frosh Soft, we're going to play. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to make it work.
There you go. What is there something you told the group of seniors this year? You lose as many as you do last year. Obviously, sometimes people think that there's going to be, kind of that dip off, that fall off a little bit from the year previous, but you guys have just really taken the next step. What is something that you told your group of seniors heading into this year that you feel like they've really held on to as the season's got on?
It's funny you mentioned that because I spoke about it this morning with one of our volleyball players, and they just ended their season a few nights ago in the playoffs. I didn't tell our guys anything. I asked them. We met the Monday after our season ended last year, and I asked them what they needed from me. And the one word they all collectively came to was trust. And I said, okay, I can work with that, right? Because a lot of these guys didn't have varsity playing experience. They had JV and they had Frosh soft playing experience, but they didn't have that varsity Friday Night Lights experience. So the one word they came up with, as I said, was trust. So then we brought together and we said, okay, you want trust. Step one is to earn it. Then we got to build it, and then we got to keep it. So that's what they've done every step of the way. They asked us to trust them and give them responsibilities that they have never had before, and they've done it every step of the way. So I appreciate you asking that question because we pride ourselves on our players being the vocal ones, the leaders of this program, the best ambassadors for what we do on campus. And this senior class is showing it every single day.
Do you guys have some ways that you kind of hand off that leadership? Like I'm thinking like a leadership council or some group of guys that kind of make those decisions. I know there's some teams that, their leadership council picks the uniforms they wear every week, but what are some things that some of the leaders on your team do to, help the rest of the guys on a week-to-week basis?
Another great question. We have a leadership council that's fulfilled all levels, so freshman to senior, and we meet every Wednesday at lunch, and I'm the head of that council, obviously being the head coach, and a lot of it is just things I'll bring to the table of, we'll start off with, okay, let's hear it. What do we have? I want to know the pulse of the program because they're the extensions of that to me, right? I think that we have a group of coaches that are players coaches, but you know how it is with teenagers, right? There's things that go on that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we have the pulse of our program strong and connected. So our players do have that leadership council where, again, we meet every Wednesday, and then every Thursday after walkthroughs going into Fridays, they have a players only meeting right after our walkthrough. That's where they decide what uniform combos they want to wear. That's where they go over game plans, just kind of last checks. Like, hey, did we miss anything? Do we have any concerns here, concerns there? So a lot of it is our players, Adam, truly. I wish I could take a ton of credit and say how great our coaching staff is. And I think they are great, no doubt. But our players are so much better. They're great people. They're terrific young men. They do the right things the correct way. Again, they may not be the best athletes in the world, but they are a group of dudes who are connected and want to do what's best for the team, whether it's what's best for them or not.
I love that. I love to hear that. That's so awesome. I want to talk about one of your seniors in particular. He's kind of engaged a lot of recruitment over the year, and Eamon Alexander has really just taken the world by storm. Big size, has been a beast up front for you guys all season long. What has stood out to you about the attention he's gotten on the recruiting side and just really his performance this season?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you right now, a 3A dude having offers from the Big 10, the Big 12, the SEC, the Ivy Leagues, right? That's kind of unheard of in today's day and age, but Ammon's taking everything one day at a time. He's a phenomenal young man. He's a great person, high academic, over 4.0 student. He's in our NHS. He's super involved on campus. He's every bit of 6'6", 300 plus pounds. And as I had mentioned earlier, we're a 7 through 12 campus. So he's walking around campus with 11, 12-year-olds, and they all look up to him and they love him. There's no intimidation there at all. He's a gentle giant on the campus, but when he gets on the field, he's a dog. And he's done a great job of working within our offense. When we first got here, all he had known was double wing. So he knew base block and down block. That's all he knew. So we come in and we run our traditional, spread offense that we're trying to run some wide zone, outside zone, pin and pulls, things like that. And he's taken every step of it, and he's working outside of, in the offseason, he works with Ron Sowers at Training Better Athletes. We have a great offensive line coach here in Andy Montano. And of course, our run game coordinator and our offensive coordinator. They run a high-level offense where it shows really well on film, the things that he's able to do. And it's been exciting to see the recognition he's receiving, because he's never one to want to go out there and try and get it and say, hey, look at me, look at me. He's a part of our program, and he loves every bit about being at Benjamin Franklin. And, he could have gone anywhere in the East Valley and similar to his older brothers. He had 2 older brothers come through here. One's at BYU, one's going to Southern Utah. And then, of course, him, Ammon has all of his options. And all 3 of those young men could have gone anywhere. But they're grounded. They have great heads on their shoulders. Their mother, Tracy, has done just a phenomenal job of raising those boys and keeping them in the right mindset for what college football might bring them here in a few years.
Absolutely. And he's the guy up front protecting the rest of that offense. Who are some guys on your offense that you've really seen step up this year and help you guys put a lot of points out on the board?
We have a 1,000-yard receiver in Talon Spear, and I think Talon's one of the better athletes in the entire state. He's a senior. It's only his second year playing high school football. He's an all-conference football player. He's all-conference basketball, all-conference baseball. And again, a guy on this campus who everybody knows how great he is on the court and on the field and on the diamond, but he's an even better person off of it. He's quiet. He's humble. He wants to do what's best for the team. He plays corner for us as well. So he's kind of a two-way guy. He returns kicks. He does it all. And he's been a huge jumpstart to our offense. As I mentioned, he didn't play his freshman or sophomore year. He decided to come out last year as a junior and earned all conference recognition. Yesterday, we just met at the all-region meeting, and he was named our region player of the year. So, he's a dude. He's an absolute dude that makes things work. We have 2 running backs, Landon and Carson Stetka. Brothers, both seniors, not twins. Carson's a year, about 15 months younger than Landon, but they are both seniors. It's a thunder and lightning match, and with the offensive line we have, they're able to do some great stuff. Ty Sather, I think, is one of the most savvy football players in all of Arizona. I think he's the best safety. I really do. He's definitely the best safety in 3A. He might be one of the top safeties in the entire state. But Ty's our defensive coordinator's son, but he plays both ways for us. And some of the things he does on Friday nights, man, like I'm not sure other people can do it. He's so smart. He's a heady ball player. He understands the rules of the game and just does the small little things for us. He blocks on the edge. He'll be our quick screen guy, but he can take the top off of defense as well. He scored first play of the game against Push Ridge last week on a 66-yard deep ball, right? So there's so many things he can do. And then, of course, our offensive line, all of them. Starts with Ammon, but then you have Jackson Ellis, Zachary Tusher, Paul Bergdahl, and Ray Forsack. Those guys are a unit, and there's 4 seniors on that group, with Paul being the only junior. So they know that this is a season where we have to capitalize on this senior leadership that we have, and we're looking forward to what we can do tomorrow evening against Dysart.
Ben Franklin, head coach Danny Norris joining me here on Arizona Varsity. Coach, you mentioned that game against Dysart. You guys clinched the number 1 seed. How do you feel about your positioning in the 3A playoffs?
3A is a dog. We just had our all-region meeting voting yesterday, and 5 of the 6 teams in our region made the playoffs, and we played 8 out of 10 teams this year in the regular season, and they're all playoff teams. So we are looking at a really difficult 3A bracket, in my opinion, and being the number 1 seed is great. I think our guys certainly earned that throughout the season with their regular season, but we know what it's like to be the number 1 seed. We were the number 1 seed last year and lost in the semifinals to Push Ridge. Push Ridge went 13-1 last year, and we were their 1. So we beat them week 3, and then they beat us when it mattered in the semifinals. So our guys truly are staying grounded. If you look ahead to our bracket, which we're not doing, there's a potential for rematches just outside of Dysart, assuming we can take care of business tomorrow evening. And that's okay. We knew in 3A conference with 31 teams that there was going to be that opportunity for rematches and seeing teams again. And for us, we just need to make sure that we're one day at a time and continuing to earn, build, and keep that trust.
Absolutely. Coach, one last thing for you here before I let you go. I want to talk about a tweet that you have pinned on your Twitter. It's a photo of you with your kids out on the field. How important is it to you to have them around you, but also how difficult can it be during the season that, maybe you're not around as much at home, but still, they're there at the end of the day and you can spend time with them?
Yeah, definitely the hero of our family is my wife, Kelsey. She does a lot. She makes a ton of sacrifices in the fall for us, for me to be able to do what I do here at Ben Franklin and the work that we put in. And our 2 boys, we have twin boys who are 4, Kaysen and Easton, and then our daughter will be 2 in January, Abigail. They keep us going, man. I love having them around. I think it's good for our players to see that as well, to see an example of hopefully what they see is as a loving husband and a loving father and someone who does prioritize their family and makes it a priority to be around them as much as we can. And whether that's on a football field or quick, short dates here and there, it's important to me to show our boys what that looks like, our players, what that looks like, because the hope would be that they're all husbands and fathers one day and they know what that is. And the priorities of my life will always be our faith first, and then, my wife and my kids, and then what we do here at Benjamin Franklin. Coming here was a great decision for our family. I actually don't have to start my day until third period, which is super great. I get those
there you
mornings.
go.
So I do get those mornings with the wife and kids. And my wife's such a hard worker, man. She's a full-time worker. She's remote from home though, but man, she's incredible. And I'm super blessed to have her and obviously our beautiful, healthy children.
Absolutely. Coach Norris, appreciate you joining me this morning, and best of luck in the playoffs.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you, sir.